Hi, welcome to Daddykirbs Garden. Today I'd like to talk to you about propagating figs. Now, I'm no fig expert, but I have a neighbor who is a friend, and he has been a master gardener for a very long time, and he shared some things with me that should help get a good start on propagating these figs. On the fig stem, there's these little nodules, these little bumps. Each of those is a potential root. What a fig will do in the tree, if the fig lays low and touches the ground and it gets enough moisture, all those little bumps will become roots. It'll put out roots, and that everything above it will be a new tree. Now, I clipped these yesterday off of my neighbor's tree, and I came home right away and I put them in a bucket of rainwater. That was just to keep it moist, to make sure that it didn't dry out and potentially die. So now I'm going to plant these much like I planted some of the other things that I propagated before, but I'll go ahead and show you the process again. I have plenty of these kitty litter buckets. Luckily for me, I have friends that have cats, and they get these buckets and they give me their empties. So I took 4 of these buckets, and on the short side I drilled 4 holes on both sides. That's for drainage. So inside, I'm going to take a piece of old towel and I'm going to lay it across the holes and cover it with sand. So I'm just going to lay this piece of cloth across the holes. My sand will pour out if I don't cover the holes. The cloth will allow for the water to drain, but it'll keep the sand from falling out. Now that I have a piece of old towel over the holes and the sand holding that towel up, I can place the fig down in the bucket and start placing the sand so I can fill this up. Okay, this is filled up to a point where I'm satisfied, and the twig, the fig twig, is going to be supported by that sand. Plenty of drain holes. This one's ready to go. Now, the reason I'm using sand, and this is coarse sand, this isn't play sand, is because certain things, when they're propagated, really only need drainage. They need a moist environment, but they need to be well drained, and that's the case with figs. There will be very few nutrients in this sand. There are some, because it was in the chicken coop, and I scraped off the top layer where the chicken manure was, and I dug underneath. So there will be some chicken manure in it, old dry chicken manure. It came from one of the coops where the chickens don't hang out so much. But it's mostly just sand. That should be exactly what this fig tree needs to make roots. Now, I have a fig branch here that has 3 branches coming off of it, so I'm going to try to get 3 more starts here. I have a total of 4 buckets, so I'm going to trim some of these extra leaves off. See, I don't want to bury any leaves. Just leave a few at the top, and then I'm going to snip it right down here at the bottom, right where it comes, where the 3 of them come apart. So that's 1. That's 2. And then this one, you take some of these leaves off. I'm going to use a little extra bit of that thicker trunk where they were all connected. And that's 3. Okay, there's my second one all potted up, ready to go. I wanted to say too that my neighbor, who is the master gardener, was telling me all about figs. He spent some time working at the botanical gardens, and he said that they used to do just this, and they would root their figs in just straight perlite, or however that's said. And they would put no additional nutrients or anything. It was just a medium and water. So, and he said they had 100% success rate with their fig starts. So I have all 4 of them all potted up, and I put 2 of them down inside this plastic it's a container that was a drawer in one of those plastic convertible storage systems, or you know, something that you would buy at the Container Store or whatever. Well, it was going to be in someone's trash, and I salvaged it, and now it makes a perfect container for me to set pots down in when I want them to sit in a little bit of water. So these here, 2 of them fit perfectly inside this plastic drawer, and now I'm going to put rainwater collected from my large containers, and I'm just going to soak them. I'm going to fill them up, and I'm going to let that rainwater drain down into that plastic container. And while that's draining, I wanted to add, you know, there could be a question of why would you do this? Why would you want to propagate trees like this? In this case, fig trees, but it could be any tree or any plant. If you think about what I've done here just now, I spent no money. I went and talked to my neighbor, and I took a clipping from a tree that has been doing well in this area for probably 20 years, and I took his knowledge about how to propagate those trees. I put them in buckets that were free to me. They were going to be end up in the dumpster. I'm placing them in a plastic drawer container that was going to be in the dumpster. So potentially when this is all over, I'm going to have 4 trees that produce fruit on my farm that I didn't pay anything for. All I had to do was manage the resources in a way that I could get something out of it. And here's a step that may be unnecessary, but it might actually do some good. We'll see. This is a cup with willow leaves. These are my willow trees back here. They're doing great, by the way. These are willow leaves that have been soaking in water for 24 hours. Now, willow is known to be like a rooting hormone. When you root something, it's good to put a little willow water in there, and it's supposed to help with getting that cutting to produce roots. So how much is necessary? How do you do it exactly? I'm not sure, but I'm going to just take about 1/4 of this and pour it into each container. So there you have it. 4 fig trees started on the Daddykirbs Farm in the Daddykirbs garden. We'll see how it goes. I really appreciate you being here with me. It's been a lot of fun doing this, and I look forward to sharing with you in the comments. I'd love to see you subscribe and share the video with your friends. I'll talk to you soon. Dad's a freak.